So before we say anything clever, we've got food in front of us. We've got to start with the food. What have you got?
We've got 3 grain bowls.
Okay.
And I think a grain bowl is a perfect thing. It's great for lunch, it's great for dinner. And as these 3 flavour profiles will show you, that they're really, really versatile. So here what we've got is a panzanella version.
Yeah, nice.
Do you want to dig into that? We'll have a little look. Yeah, we've got some pearl barley,
Nice.
bit of cannellini beans, some basil, tomatoes, and then, which I quite like about this, is it's got fruit in there as well.
Cherries.
Cherries.
Right now, height of summer. We've got tomatoes, absolutely gorgeous, fresh tomatoes are in season right now. Cherries are in season if you've got a cherry tree at home. That celebration also includes beans, because beans are in season. So any of these, if you can find them in your local supermarket, probably fresh off the vine. 10 minutes since they came off the tree.
Don't you think that with tomatoes, I remember as a kid, you'd go to the supermarket and you'd like look for some tomatoes, and they were basically quite bland.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be lucky if you got a cherry tomato. Usually they'd just be a bit watery looking salad tomatoes, and tomatoes were just tomatoes. But now you walk into a big supermarket and there is just an abundance of fantastic tomatoes. Heritage tomatoes, green ones, yellow ones, black ones even. So now you can really go to town with making a tomato-based dish.
And there's so much happens on a plate when you're combining those kind of yellow, orange and red tomatoes.
Some people back in the day would have looked at that kind of salad and gone, that is peasant food, for want of a better word, because you've got stale bread.
Yeah.
Which you've turned into arguably basically the main event. You've got grains and you've got beans. But I think all of those ingredients now are just people that are eating proper food will gravitate toward them rather than be repelled by them.
Well, it's obviously healthy, right? Yeah. So we've got whole grains in here, which are going to give you like all of that goodness, all of that fiber. You've got beans, protein, vitamins. You've got cherries. They're going to have antioxidants and be really tasty as well, which is always important. Basil, more antioxidants. And this is the kind of food we should be eating more regularly.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's just one of 3. So let's have a look at number 2. So this is our version of a Greek salad. Because obviously with the Greek salad, it relies on beautiful, fresh ingredients with great texture and great variance in terms of the flavour. So you've got the saltiness from the olives, you've got the freshness and the crunch from the cucumbers, you've got the sweetness from the tomatoes, the kind of sharpness from the onion. But what obviously we can't have is feta.
Yeah.
So what I thought it would be a good idea to, in place of feta, use something like a broad bean, because it actually has a similar texture.
Yeah. And obviously you're getting the protein and the fibre in the broad bean. This tzatziki right here is kind of giving you all of that tanginess, all of that zip that you would get from the feta. Yeah. So the minute you get all of that in there, I don't really feel like I'm missing the feta.
I completely agree. I mean, that is a big bowl of wonderful, food. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, so much goodness.
That tzatziki, it's silken tofu.
So, oh, wow.
Yeah, take a block of silken tofu. A good tip for silken tofu is that whenever you go to the supermarket and it's on deal, because it lasts in a cupboard for ages, just buy a few boxes of it, whack it in the blender, blitz it up into a bit of a cream, and then do what you will with it. I think in there we've got some dill, some mint, some cucumber, and then there is some lemon as well. I actually failed to put garlic in. Forgot.
Well, I've not noticed it. There's so much flavour going on.
Raw garlic is a bit punchy in it.
It's working great. Wonderful. So, and obviously that's got the protein, it's got the beans that are in season as well, because, you know, you will basically want to be focusing on things that are in season. And finally, our 3rd seasonal grain bowl. What's that?
This is probably a bit of you, this one, I reckon.
Oh, yeah?
It's gochujang. So it's a Korean base. You've got roasted smoked tofu, which is really, really good. Roasting tofu is obviously fantastic because what you do is draw out the moisture and improve the overall texture. So what we've got there is we've made a little very, very basic sauce, and we've tossed the tofu in the sauce, and then we've used the remaining sauce to toss our chopped veggies, which is our slaw. So yeah, you've got great fieriness, great protein, as you would say, and loads of different veggies in there as well.
Yeah, that heat is coming as well. I'm getting that heat.
It's a bit punchy.
That is tasty. I'm loving the combination of the slaw and the tofu.
Yeah.
And so much goodness in a bowl.
Edamame and Monge 2. I mean, talking about in season, you can go to decent sized supermarket and Monge 2 is just right there. And edamame is great as well because you can just bang it in the freezer. And whenever you want it, just get it out the freezer, pop it in a bowl or even a pan, and then get some hot water on there. And then within 2 minutes, you've woken it up. And look at the fresh green colour popping out of it.
So much goodness.
Yeah.
My daughter, Berry, is actually obsessed with edamame.
I'm not surprised.
That's her favourite thing. Whenever we go to Wagga, she's just sat there like popping out the edamame. And I think that's the main event for her, really.
I seem to remember we were somewhere, maybe at Wagamama, maybe at somewhere else, but we ordered edamame. I can't remember who it was, but somebody started eating those edamame, just crunching it, and they were like, "Oh, it's a bit weird, a bit fibrous." It's like, yeah, that's probably because you're eating the skin.
Was it a girl you were dating?
Maybe.
Possibly.
Quite possibly. It could have been quite possibly. But yeah, it's a bit silly, isn't it?
So, speaking of seasonal food, obviously this podcast is all about seasonal food and celebrating things that are in season. How much seasonal food finds its way into your kitchen?
Quite a fair bit. I mean, I'm lucky enough to live around the corner from a supermarket, so I'll pop in there, and whenever there's something, for instance, I'm a big fan of potatoes, so Jersey Royals.
Yeah.
So when the Jersey Royals are in season, you get them, and they are just, the flavour is noticeably better than when they are not in season.
Yeah.
They're soft, they're buttery, they're the powderiness just isn't there, and they just are different to what they usually are. And the same is true of most things, really. And I think that we forget, because we live in a society of plenty, it's very easy to forget that you shouldn't be able to get everything all of the time.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that you probably would appreciate things more if you didn't have access to them all the time. So strawberries, you shouldn't be able to get strawberries in December.
Yeah.
But yet you can.
Yeah.
And strawberries are way better in the summer, as we all know.
They are. So we get those delivery bowls or delivery boxes that have come from the farm. I'm not going to mention the company, but one of those delivery boxes just appears at our door once a week. And inevitably in there is some veg that we don't necessarily want. There's always courgettes.
Always.
There's just always courgettes. And in fact, one of the funny things that happened last week was we had all of these beetroots that came, and MJ, my partner, was looking at it and thinking, I don't want beetroot.
Yeah,
and this is a lot of beetroot for us to get through. I don't really want it. I'm like, well, why do you keep ordering these really expensive delivery boxes? Anyway, I decided to investigate the beetroot and make a salad. Turns out it wasn't beetroot at all, it was radish.
Really? So it's super spicy.
And start going into it, and it's white, not red. That was the key. It did, to be fair, look exactly like beetroot.
Yeah.
But then if you think about it, that's where pickling comes in. And this is like historically, people have always pickled things so that they could have them out of season, so they could preserve them. So we pickled the radish, and it just didn't take that long. Whack it in a bit of vinegar, maybe a bit of extra sugar and salt, and there you go. You've got a tasty pickle that's going to last for ages in the fridge. So I think more people should get down with like these old methods of preserving food. Of course, the freezer, great way to keep things fresh as well.
For sure. And also pickling, I suppose it's really good for your gut.
Yes.
How much kimchi do I eat?
You eat a lot of kimchi.
I should probably start making it. I mean, do you remember we made a recipe for kimchi and we put it in our book, BOSH on a Budget.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool process. You get all your bits and bobs that you need inside your pot, and then you sort of squeeze out all of the moisture. And it's a lot more rewarding than just buying it from a shop, but I'd never do it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's the thing, right? People are time poor. We're pretty time poor as founders of a business.
Yeah.
So you inevitably end up making compromises and just working out how to get through life. And everyone's doing the same thing in their own way. But I think the key thing that most people are maybe getting wrong in this country is most people are just eating beige food all of the time. And they're eating food that's in bread or, just fried. And yet what we've got in front of us, you've got a celebration of deliciousness, all good protein, packed full of fibre, packed full of goodness. Yeah. Every single bowl here is delicious. Yeah. And you can basically eat every meal like this, or nearly every meal, and feel wonderful. And if you unpack that and you think, well, what are we talking about? you want to put labels on things. People always want to put labels on things, but this is like plant-rich, plant-based, basically high-quality Mediterranean diet food. And the Mediterranean diet is associated with the longest living people. You could see the blue zones. They were eating a true Mediterranean diet where it was anywhere from 90 to 100% plants. Mm-hmm. Obviously, good quality olive oil is in there as well. Legumes are in there. Greens are in there. You're getting all of the different colours of all of the different veg. You've got whole grains in there. You've got nuts and seeds and berries and all of that good stuff in there. And ultimately, we all want to be eating that stuff as much as we humanly can.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult, and it doesn't have to be that expensive either.
No, and it's all Mediterranean principles as well. So because people think Mediterranean, they think, oh, it has to be just tomatoes or just cucumbers. But I would say, even though that gochujang grain bowl right there isn't necessarily a Mediterranean dish, it has Mediterranean food principles.
Yeah.
Because of, it's fresh, it's in season, it's got grains, it's got beans in there, and even though there isn't a specific bean, there is beans in the tofu.
Yeah.
I remember someone asked me, what's your favourite vegetable? And I was like, well, what's my favourite vegetable? Well, probably soybeans.
Yeah, you eat a lot of soybeans.
Because it's just tofu and tempeh all the time.
Yeah, are you a soy boy? Is that
yeah, I think so. A proud
think
soy boy, actually.
Yeah.
And let's get it right. I mean, soy boy, you're a soy boy.
Yeah.
I'm a soy boy. And it served us very well. I mean,
what does a soy boy mean? It means you're eating like a whole, complete protein, mainly based from beans, with all of the extra fibre, all of the extra nutrients, and all of the goodness.
Yeah, and 12 years on.
Yeah.
Not dead.
Still going strong.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing about obviously eating this kind of food is it's cheap, it's affordable, and you can get these kind of beans, lentils, dried. Chickpeas, you've got chickpeas over there. It's so cheap to buy chickpeas if you buy them dried. And so it doesn't have to be crazy expensive to buy this stuff. And you don't have to be doing the seasonal shopping because you can buy the dried version.
Yeah. I remember you made that hummus that time with the dried chickpeas and you soaked them.
Yeah.
And it was like mild faff, but God damn it, they were so delicious. That hummus was unbelievable in terms of texture, in terms of the flavour profile, and also chickpeas, you could have them sat in a jar for a decade and then go back to them and just wake them up with a bit of boiling water and then you're away. I like chickpeas at the moment because you can, as you say, you can just get them from dried bag, or you could buy them from a tin, which is super cheap. They're from a tin. Yep. Or you can go for the slightly premium option out of a jar.
The nice jarred stuff.
Yeah, so there's lots of different options when it comes to chickpeas.
Yeah. Great, so that is our first bite segment. So moving on, it's very hot at the moment in the United Kingdom. So we are experiencing one of the hottest Julys we've ever experienced. It's crazy. I mean, we've had temperatures of 33, even higher. In fact, in my bedroom, it's been 33 for the last week or so. Everybody's lawns are kind of going brown. We've got hosepipe bans over quite a significant proportion of the country. And it does now feel like this is the coolest it's going to be. And it's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And in fact, we were out at a party on Sunday in the daytime. And it felt like we were in Barcelona or Ibiza.
It really did. It really, really did. And I know that obviously the summer is supposed to be hot. And you are supposed to feel a little bit uncomfortable, at least for some of the summer. And I think that we can cast our minds back to when we were younger and remember, oh yeah, it was quite hot back in the day. But it does feel like we've reached a bit of a tipping point, and it does feel as if it's a little bit hotter than it usually is. And it also feels as if the heat is being way more sustained than it ever has.
It feels like the climate has changed.
Yeah,
and I know that that's a buzzword, and it's been a buzzword for 20 odd years or even longer, but actually it feels like this has been a systemic shift, and it's not just, oh, we've got a hot day or a hot week. I mean, this is the whole of July has felt like Spain.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and now I'm going to Mallorca on Saturday, as you know, and I was going to text my sister. I was going to give her a snarky text message saying, "Can we change the flights, please, and go to Finland instead?" Because we've been in this 33-degree heat for the past 3 weeks, and then now we're just going to go for even hotter. But there we are. Yeah, and I wonder if that will, if the continued increase in temperatures in Europe will lead people to stop going south for their holidays.
yeah.
And actually, it might start benefiting the likes of Sweden and Finland and Norway and Denmark, and increase their tourism income.
Well, I mean, I cycled to Brighton a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a long cycle.
Brighton was popping off.
I bet.
It was full. It was like the whole of everyone that was south of London in the whole of the UK had all gone to Brighton. It was absolutely full of people. And I suppose, it's going to be a good thing for
Tourism.
particularly southern seaside towns. They're just going to be full once more. Because you don't need to go on holiday now.
No, you really
You don't
don't.
need to go to Spain.
I mean, back in the day, the British, I mean, this is way before our time, but British people would go on holiday in Britain. And I think it was only about the sort of back end of the 60s, early 70s, where you've got these cheaper flights started popping up down to southern Spain. So people go to Torremolinos or Costa del Sol, even though the Torremolinos is probably on the Costa del Sol. But, you've got places like Southend and Hornsea and Bridlington and Blackpool that are all fallen by the wayside, and they're really down at heel and have been for decades.
Yeah.
But now, where if it's a little bit hotter here, then you might see this resurgence in British tourism, which, we're trying to pick good things out of what is a fundamentally quite a bad situation. But that could be a result of this.
Yeah. And obviously that, you mentioned picking good things out of a bad situation. That's like the whole reason for thinking about what we do to the planet, thinking about our impact on the planet, carbon footprint. I mean, flying is not great, is it?
No.
Like, it's not the best to be taking a flight. I'm not saying we shouldn't take flights. I remember in COVID, everyone was super against people flying. And I think that finger pointing mentality doesn't help anyone, because people need a holiday, right? But
Agreed.
at the same time, when we're seeing this impact, we've got kids, you've got Zach, I've got Berry. It does feel like we have a bit of a responsibility to think about our transport, our food, the way we handle rubbish, the way we consume stuff, and just try and do what we can to try and reduce climate change a little bit, because we're seeing the effects of it live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we've been banging this drum for a long time now, but plant-based food is probably the easiest thing that an individual can do to improve their own carbon footprint.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Yeah, and look, it's delicious.
It's tasty food.
Yeah.
There's another thing that is having its moment right now. We were talking about it just recently, and that is just generally peptides. This is a word that people are hearing all over the place. They're hearing about retatrutide. They're hearing about Mounjaro. They're hearing about Ozempic, Wegovy, all of these different things. It feels like, particularly in the UK and in the US, there's just massive growth in people trying out these new things. We've got some friends who are testing these things out.
Yep.
And can I tell you something really interesting about this? Do you know where the origin story of these drugs, particularly Ozempic, came from?
No, please enlighten me.
One of the strangest things in modern medicine. So there's a hormone in your gut that's called GLP-1, and it tells your brain that you're full. Scientists found a version of that hormone that lasts way longer, and it's in the saliva of a venomous American lizard called the Gila monster.
The Gila monster.
The Gila monster. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Could
Wow.
be Gila monster or Gila monster. So literally, this started from a lizard, and it became a diabetes drug, which most of us have heard. Yeah. Then doctors noticed that those patients were losing some serious weight, and that's how they found their way to this now crazy injection that so many people are trialing, and it's helping so many people lose weight, particularly people who are obese, but also fitness people are using it as well, and seeing incredible impact.
I think it's a good thing. How much testing has been done on these things?
The GLP-1 drugs have been around for a long, long time, so at least 10 years. But they've been around predominantly used for diabetes. So they've had lots and lots of tests. So we do know they're largely safe, and we do know the potential side effects, because there are some. But the use of it as a weight loss treatment is more common now and more recent. Yeah. So they're incredibly popular. The science behind them is pretty solid. And as long as you're getting it from a reputable source, most importantly from a doctor, and using them within the general guidelines, they're pretty safe. Yeah. Obviously, this isn't medical advice. People should talk to a doctor. But I know less about the new drugs like retatrutide and all of these things. I think there's all manner of peptides coming out now.
All popping off. I think specifically with GLP-1s, I feel that they're a net good thing.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people have a real issue with overeating, with weight management, and if you carry too much weight for too long, the likelihood is that you're going to, in later life, suffer some real hard consequences. You're going to be ill. It might, shave years of good life off your life, and actually might end your life way quicker than what it should. So I think ultimately having something that can help you lose the weight that you need to lose is a really good thing.
Yeah. I think it's quite a nice antidote to the fact that we're just bombarded with marketing for unhealthy food. This food is everywhere. Yeah. You go into a shop, there's loads of bad things just there in front of you. So I think in a sense, although we still have to pay for these drugs, I think it's a useful weapon against this kind of evil food marketing industry.
I think logic would say that these GLP-1s should be available for free, because ultimately they're a damn sight cheaper than the cost of sorting somebody's weight-related illness out later on in life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might cost a bit now for the NHS, but in the future it might save them thousands.
So are you going to be trying retatrutide?
Retatrutide, well, I've got a friend, I won't name any names, who has said that they have taken a peptide for to make their body better.
So they get bigger muscles
and lose
less
weight.
Body fat.
Exactly.
Female and male.
Yeah, but male specifically, there was two, a bloke and a woman, but the dude looks amazing. Seriously, I didn't see him for maybe a couple of months.
Yeah.
And in a couple of months, he went from being a very muscular, well put together bloke, but to be wow. So he's lost weight around his face. His shoulders have got noticeably broader. His chest got noticeably bigger. You see him with his top off, and he's like, oh wow, okay, you're cut. And I think that having a little bit of a external help, probably has helped him quite a lot. I mean, he looks great.
But the risk is obviously you don't know where you're getting these things from, right? Because if you're not getting it from a doctor,
a black market,
it could be coming. The dosages could be all over the place. It could be coming with other things inside it.
Highly likely.
It's a bit risky.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would take it.
Yeah.
I think I. But in the future, if you go to the chemist, for instance, and someone says, "There you are." You give them some money, they give you a thing, ideally something that you don't have to jab into your leg, and something you can take in pill form, and all you have to do is go to the gym and to watch what you eat, and you just look infinitely better, and your body works a little bit better. Then why wouldn't you want to take that?
Yeah. Interesting. Moving on. So this is the segment of the podcast that we're calling Pinch of Salt. So this is all about a myth bust. Mm-hmm. There's always nonsense flying around. And one of the things I think we're quite good at in BOSH is, trying to get to the signal through the noise, cut through the nonsense. And one of the things that came up for me in the last month or so was this conversation about oat milk and oat milk spiking your blood sugar. Someone said to me, "Oh, what are you having oat milk for? It's that's not very good, is it? Because it spikes your blood sugar, and then that's a bit of a problem. Blah blah blah." And I get it, right? We've all seen those patches that people put on their arms, and we understand that if you're in a kind of pre-diabetic phase of life, you might want to be thinking about your blood sugar and those spikes, but the reality is, for most of us, that insulin's coming up and coming back down again is just a normal thing that your body does, and isn't necessarily something to fear. But also, the irony of it is that person who's worrying about whether or not oat milk is spiking their blood sugar up or down is more than likely drinking 4 pints on Friday, 4 pints on Saturday, getting 5 hours sleep a night, and half of the food that they eat is beige. And you think we're a bit lost here in this world with this kind of orthorexia, with all of this information about what we should and shouldn't do. Should we have seed oils? Should we worry about things spiking our blood sugar? Should we have this particular thing? Has this compound got bad things in it? Should, all of these things that pop up, should we be just not having anything that has sugar or salt in it? But yet, we're getting lost in what I would say is the noise, and we're missing the signal. And the signal is something that you're very good at, actually, which is just simple, consistent behaviors where you're getting like 90% of it right, and then you don't have to worry about the other 10%, right? It's like if most of the food that you eat looks like this food that we've got on our table here, if you're getting, let's say, 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night, if you're exercising every day, ideally, if you're getting good cardio, you're getting good strength training in as well, doing lots of walking, lots of cycling, getting a decent amount of sunlight, not just staring at your screen day in, day out, spending some time with friends and family, ticking all of those boxes, that's the point at which it makes sense to go and say, maybe I'll start optimizing the small stuff. But so many people are just swimming in these micro optimizations whilst failing on the stuff that actually matters.
Yeah.
They're overly focused on the small levers and they're just missing the big levers.
Yeah.
And for me, this is the biggest problem of all, really, is we should all be focused on getting 80% to 90% of the way there through these basic, simple, and mostly free lifestyle factors and high quality diet. And we should stop listening to all of these scaremongering Instagrammers who will tell you that X food is going to kill you, or X thing is going to kill you, or X thing is going to spike your blood sugar and that's going to cook your insides, and all of this mostly unfounded nonsense.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was fun. And do you know when it comes to the oat milk thing? So with regard to the spiking of blood sugar, where did that come from?
The spiking of blood sugar is just a normal human response to having foods that contain sugars.
Yeah.
And it's your body creating insulin. It receives sugar inside the blood and you get an insulin response. Insulin comes up and then it decreases the amount of sugar in your blood and then insulin goes back down again. And in normal healthy people, that's just how your body functions. It's normal.
Yeah.
If one wants to reduce it, one can do things like go for a walk after a meal, or think about like making sure you're eating some salad at the same time as eating something that's more carbohydrate based. So you've got fiber and carbs coming in at the same time. And, oat milk is a bit sugary. So's milk. So's dairy milk, right? These things are prevalent in dairy as well. And if you're pre-diabetic, if you're diabetic, it does make sense to be thinking about those things. But for a normal functioning human, one should be focused on the big levers. You mentioned body fat percentage before. That's one of them. Sleep quality, exercise quality, stress levels.
Yep.
All of these things have a way bigger impact than the small blood sugar spike one may get from oat milk.
Yeah.
And the oat milk is
good.
Nice. If you want to have a latte, have a latte.
Exactly. And it does feel as if that over the course of the past 10 years, we've lived through a big change in the way that people look at food. Obviously, there was the big explosion in plant-based food and plant-based alternatives. Now, a lot of the plant-based meats, if we're honest, have fallen by the wayside. There's been a few companies that have grown and a few companies that have crumbled. A few have stuck around, but generally, 5 years ago, you'd walk into a supermarket, there was an awful lot of plant-based meat alternatives. Now that has really shrunk down. But it doesn't look like the plant-based milk alternatives have shrunk down. If anything, it feels as if that aisle came and it's here to stay.
They've seen growth.
They've seen big growth. So now you've got your soy milk, oat milk, almond milk. I remember we saw tiger nut milk that time, which is crazy. Out of all of the plant-based milks, which do you reckon is the best one to go for?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? I did a whole piece of research on this and prepared a video that we never posted on the difference between all of the different plant-based milks. We must get around to filming that video one day soon.
Yeah.
Oat milk, it doesn't have a huge amount of nutritional value. Okay, it has a few nutrients in there which are worthwhile consuming. But I think one of the main things that is good to get from milk is protein, really. And one of the things that I think about when I think about milk anyway is protein. So we obviously have a daughter, Berry. She's 3. For me and MJ, we're just trying to get protein into a diet wherever we can. So we tend to steer her in the direction of almond milk and soy milk. But that just doesn't really work as well in a latte.
No,
And
it
I think
doesn't.
if you're having a latte, you're having a bit of milk in your coffee or maybe on your cereal, you're not necessarily doing that for the protein. So if you're going for protein, almond is excellent and soy is excellent. But if you're going for that kind of quite nice, satisfying flavour that's good in a latte or maybe more tasty on cereal, then have the oat milk, don't stress about it, and just make sure the rest of your diet is packed full of protein and packed full of vitamins.
Do you remember the article that Donna shared from the grocer, I think it was this week, about how fortification is obviously, kicking off in a big way, but it's about to really kick off.
Yeah.
And I think that there's food manufacturing companies that are now implementing better ways of getting fortification and things like niacin or different vitamins, different minerals into food. That could be another huge food revolution that we're about to sort of go into.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're making food and if you're a food company, you should be treating your customers responsibly.
Yeah, agreed.
Treating them like they're your children and you're providing for them and you're aiming to nourish them and giving them kind of extra hidden nutritional benefits is important.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, the challenge is cost. So many of these food companies are just trying to maximize profits, and it becomes really difficult to do that if you're then adding an extra 5p or whatever of vitamin powders. But obviously, we've got some new products coming. They're going to be fortified. Our new grain bowls and our existing meals are already packed full of protein and fiber. So we're obviously trying to lead by example. But I think we're moving in the right direction. Yeah. I think people are generally getting wiser. Companies are getting a bit more responsible. More becoming B Corps, which is good. And we'll just have to keep pushing on.
Keep on pushing.
Making the good stuff.
Yeah.
So that moves us along to the penultimate segment, well seasoned.
Well seasoned.
This is all about seasons of life and a bit of an exploration about what's going on. So, Ian, what's going on for you in your life right now with regards fitness, wellness, eating, nutrition, longevity, etc.?
Fitness has become a big thing in my life, as you know. It's become something that I need to do. And it's also something that I really enjoy doing. It's I have swapped my nights for my mornings.
Yeah.
Obviously, we lived together for a long time and we have been on some wild nights out. But those wild nights out are few and far between now. But yet the mornings are dedicated to fitness. I know that you're exercising every morning. I'm getting out there every morning. And I often think about this. It's have replaced a large room with loud music with a large room with loud music. Because if you go to the nightclub, that's essentially what you've got, but the lights are down, and it's the same when you go to the gym. It's just loud music, sweaty people, large room. It's just the lights are on, and it's a little bit earlier in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that for me, it's fitness, health, training has become a really big part of my life. And I personally operate better when I have something in the diary.
Yeah.
So booking something in and having something to train for is a really great way to keep yourself honest and to keep yourself true and to keep yourself on the right path. So about 3 weeks ago, I, as you know, did my first triathlon, Ironman 70.3. The only way that I was able to train for that was with a structured training plan that I made with AI and sticking to it like glue. Waking up in the morning, taking the decision out of the day, thinking, right, what am I doing today? Look at my phone, right, today is a cycling day, so I'm going to get my cycling clothes on, I'm going to jump on the bike, I'm going to go out 45 minutes for 20-kilometre cycle, come back in, get a shower, get Zach, take him to nursery, then come to work. And it's, ticking that box early is so important, but it's as important as having something to train for. And obviously, I think a lot of people their goal might be, I want to lose a bit of weight, or I want to feel a bit fitter, or I want to pick up things that are a bit heavier. But for me personally, having an event that I'm going to go to is the best thing.
We're all overthinking everything. And, one wakes up in the morning and one has to decide about what to do, right? We're like, I'm going to go and do this thing. Or actually, should I just stay in bed? Or I can't be bothered. I don't know if I'm too ill to do this. I'm a bit tired, so I might do this. And actually, a lot of life would be better if we thought less and just did what we said we were going to do and went through the motions.
Yeah.
Thinking less and doing more. Even Cristiano Ronaldo was like, he said, it's less important what you do and more important that you do. So
he's right.
The most important thing is just showing up and do the work. And, you know, I personally have fallen foul of this where I'm like, oh, I'm going to like design the perfect training plan. And then you end up designing the training plan instead of training. And that just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I think that's really interesting. And we do have these tools, like AI is a great personal trainer. If you then take it out of there and put it in your calendar, which I assume you did.
Of course.
Yeah. For me, the realization I've been on recently is, first of all, getting out of the house is more important. I was trying to work out at home. I've got a daughter, Berry, she's 3. I'm sure lots of our viewers have got kids as well and are trying to juggle exercise and childcare, and it's really difficult. But I think that I tried to work out at home, and I've had fits and starts of working out at home daily and having that work great. But actually, there is just something to be said for getting out of the house and having a place that you go to, which could be the gym or could be a run or could be a cycle. So yeah, the current routine is I try and get out really early, drive to the gym. It's like 15 minutes, 17 minutes drive away, so it's quite a way. But on the way there, I'm journaling with my voice. So the kind of journey there is a moment to journal and reflect. The journey back is also a moment to journal and reflect and log what I did in my notes. And I get the benefit of being in a gym surrounded by other people who are also working out, which just gives you that motivation.
Definitely.
And between me and MJ, my partner, we just have to juggle. So, you know, can she do CrossFit in the morning? She's enjoying CrossFit. She tries to go at 7:15, but if she's going to go at 7:15, then I'm on childcare duty.
Yep.
Or I'm in the gym at 7 or 6:30 and she's on childcare duty. So we inevitably have to juggle. And I guess it's one of those struggles that every single person faces, particularly parents.
Absolutely.
But
it's important though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is important for the way that you feel during the day, the way that you feel about yourself, because I think if somebody is exercising, naturally their body's going to sort of tune up a little bit, like lose a bit of weight, build a bit of muscle. You know, you walk with a bit more confidence and with your chest out and your chin up and your shoulders back, and it just resonates through the rest of your life. So finding that time is essential. And obviously, as you so rightly say, it's really difficult for a lot of people, for parents, and also gym memberships are expensive. But getting out there, getting some movement in, getting some workout done, it's just the best thing you can do, really.
And it's for everyone. I think this is what people miss, is they think that going to the gym is just for, you know, people who are doing triathlons or athletes or gym bros, you know, and that's just not the case.
No.
What pregnant women who've just given birth, 70-year-old men and women, everybody should be doing some form of cardio to get their heart working and resistance training to keep their muscle mass healthy. This is some of the newest information we've got is how much we need muscle, and muscle acts as a protective organ that stops us from being frail. And we've all seen it. We've all seen those people who are getting older and finding that their muscle mass is declining and they hurt their wrist or they hurt their ankle or they fall over. The minute these things happen, you're on this kind of downward spiral of health. And the best protection against that is having more muscle in the first place and being a person who exercises. So for everyone, women, men, mothers, fathers, kids, parents, grandparents, we should all be spending time in the gym, ideally daily, and ideally aiming to both strength train and do cardio. Now, I just want to touch on one of the things that I found. You know, it was probably at the beginning of BOSH when we started this company 8 or 9 years ago, and there was a test called the sit-stand test.
Oh, yeah.
As we've mentioned, the sit-stand test is a good indicator of how healthy we are and how likely we are to live for a long time. And I think we should do this test right now, live,
Okay.
on camera, and see how we perform at the sit-stand test.
So, how does it work? Like, what do
Okay,
you
so
have
the
to
idea
do?
with the sit-stand test is this. We start standing up, and then we've got our legs kind of crossed over, and then we've got to go all the way to sitting down cross-legged.
Okay.
And then we've got to get back up again without using your hand or ideally wobbling.
Okay.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Here's what they found. In a study of adults from 51 to 80, every single point that you get on that score, and a point is a negative thing, every single point on that tracked with a 21%. A point is a good thing. In a study of adults from 51 to 80, every single point on that score tracked with a 21% lower chance of dying over the next 6 years. So ultimately, the better you are at getting up and down off the floor without using your hands, the more likely you are to live a long time.
Wow.
It shows the flexibility, but also the strength and the mobility of your joints, your balance, and really the whole system in one single move. And when we started BOSH, I couldn't do it in my 30s.
Wow.
That was my wake-up call. So I guess the question is now,
Can you do it now?
can I do it now? Shall we find out?
Yeah, go for it. You go first.
Okay. Probably not, to be honest, but let's give it a go. So the idea,
Right.
all the way down to sitting down.
Oh, that's pretty good, to be fair.
So I sat down without my hand.
Yeah. And now,
I don't feel like I can get up.
no, well, maybe you just need some momentum. You need to like rock backwards and then forward up. Can you do it?
I had to use my hands.
That's not it. Yeah, it's
There we go.
It's quite
That is
pretty good
harder
though.
than it looks.
Yeah.
How about you?
So it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you kind of sit down cross-legged. There you go.
Down. I can get and then.
Oh, momentum. Nice. Good
It's
work.
it's the momentum thing, and also, I don't think I'm very flexible.
Really?
Yeah. I feel as if that my hips were quite. I couldn't do that in a controlled upward motion.
Now on to the final round, which is fast food. This is going to be quick fire questions where I want to find out what you're into right now. So, coffee or no coffee?
Definitely coffee, double espresso, really nice crema on top, ideally from a good independent coffee shop.
Best 70p in the supermarket?
Best 70p in the supermarket has to be a really nice pink lady apple, nice and crunchy.
A supplement that is worth the money?
Medicinal mushrooms. Any kind of functional mushroom for me is well worth the money. It's one of those supplements that you can feel actively the benefit of it, and that's, reishi, chaga, turkey tail, all of them. They're great.
A supplement that is a con?
I mean, the greens powder is a bit of a con, isn't it? I mean, I still take it. I still have a greens powder because I like to keep it in my stack. But I think ultimately, if you're eating high quality food like this, then you should be A-okay, and you probably don't need a green powder. I like a sauna. Don't do it enough, but I love a sauna. Sauna is so good, as long as you're icing your balls. Do I ask the same
Yeah,
things to you?
that's the same.
Coffee or no coffee?
For me, I like to drink coffee. I love that little hit that you get from the caffeine. It helps me get started in the day. It helps me get ready for the gym. Even helped me get ready for this podcast. So for me, coffee is a great way to start the day. But I am trying to reduce the caffeine in my coffee. So I'm starting to water down my caffeinated beans with decaffeinated beans so that I can have the same amount of cups of coffee but get less of the kind of jitters.
If you had 70p, how would you spend it in the supermarket?
70p in the supermarket doesn't go very far because even, a bar of dark chocolate is going to be £2. I would go for a tin of beans. You're going to get a lot of nutrition out of a tin of beans. They're very, very cheap. And even those jarred beans, they're now available quite cheap from the supermarket own brands.
That's a good answer, that. All right, okay, so a supplement that is worth the money.
I think that creatine and protein have just got so much evidence behind them that people should be taking them on a daily basis. We're all trying to get protein into our bodies to maintain our healthy muscle mass. And protein powder is a great way to make sure you're hitting enough. And creatine has so much evidence behind it, showing it's good for your body, it's good for your brain, it's even good if you've had a bad night's sleep. So protein and creatine every day.
And any supplement that is an outright con.
Athletic Greens started really big, did a lot of marketing, got loads of people trying them, but actually they're now realizing they're way overpriced and you can get the same thing a lot cheaper And probably most of it you can get from a multivitamin pill.
Sauna or cold plunge?
I would go sauna every day. I love sitting in a sauna. If I had a sauna at home, I would be in there daily. I probably manage it about once a week, but the health benefits are just through the chart.
You can buy a sauna from Amazon right now for about $3,000.
Can you get it done?
Yeah, it's all right. Frozen or fresh?
I think frozen. For me, frozen is a win. We're so busy. We don't necessarily have time to go around the supermarket. For me, the freezer is great because I can fill it full of freshness. I can get quick, convenient things and maybe a bit of ice cream if I'm feeling like a treat.
The habit you are still bad at?
I still bite my nails. Been biting my nails since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I've got to stop. It's the stress of this job.
Last but not least, one thing you changed that you will never go back on?
I mean, becoming a father was a wonderful thing. So I'm so happy being a father. It puts everything into perspective. It raises your game. And I love my family. I love my life. So just cracking on with that.
Perfect.
Certainly not going back on that.
No, definitely not.
Right, there we have it. That is our first inaugural episode. This has been fun.
It has been fun and the first of many.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's the statistic that most podcasts don't last to episode 21. So we have to get to episode 21.
Okay, well, that'll be in 21 weeks' time.
Indeed.